Hello friends, welcome to Browns Cafe community. Our today's guest is Deepa Mann Kler, who is an artist, author, chief executive of Neon, a health tech company, visiting professor in immersive futures with Ulster University, and a non-executive director with Public Health Agency Equality Commission. And if that's not enough, she's also a hugely popular TEDx speaker and a lovely, lovely human. So let's welcome Deepa, and I'll be in a call with her in a few moments. Till then, stay connected.
Yes!
So here she is, Deepa Mann Kler, and I'm so delighted to have you, Deepa, on our channel. You are our first ever guest on the channel, and it is great to have you. Welcome to our channel, Browns Cafe.
Thank you so much, and it's great to be talking with you, Ritu.
Thank you, Deepa. So, first of all, I just wanted to start with, right from the start. And Deepa, if you don't mind telling us all about yourself, where you grew up, what were the influences, and what actually, made you what you are today.
So I was born in England, but we moved a lot during the first 8 years of my life between India and England, and it was to a new place each time. So I lived in Mansfield, Nottingham in England, and Calcutta, Delhi, Chandigarh in India, or some Kanha as well in India. So quite, a new home, a new school. And that was quite hard, to be honest. But we settled in Leicester in 1977, and then I pretty much did my sort of O levels and A levels there, and then went on to London for university. Did a teacher training degree, did a master's, and ended up in Brussels. And from Brussels, ended up in Northern Ireland over 25 years ago. So that's a very short gallop through my life.
Yeah, that is amazing. I mean, you have almost been through the places where everyone aspires to go once in a lifetime. Already sounds very interesting. So, Deepa, since you've been at so many different places across the world, what are your memories, some of the, remarkable memories from your childhood?
Oh, that's tough. I think because of all the moving, that has impacted on kind of the clarity of memories almost. So they're almost snapshots. So my memories around India as a childhood are definitely stronger, especially Kanha, because we were living with my grandma. We had a dog, and there's a lot of memories associated with Kanha, and it's the memories are very warm and sunny for obvious reasons.
Yes.
But happy as well. Really strong memories of the really hot afternoons and having to go to sleep, and the water being thrown on the wooden blinds to keep the rooms cold, and not wanting to sleep. And playing, and I think I was a bit of a nightmare when I was young as well, from the stories from the stories that my mum has told me. But memories like flying kites, with my grandma on the rooftop, and her teaching us how to cut the other kites with the glass thread, and then going to the shop to buy brown tape to fix the tissue paper on the kites when they've ripped.
Yeah, your palms and everything.
Yeah, and being able to jump across roofs because all the roofs were flat, and Holi, and just really, and then the valley as well. Just everything is uh, really, really lovely, lovely memories and birthday parties. The only kind of negative was around schooling, because it was a new school each time. I really struggled with. I think there were a school in Calcutta was kind of, no, that was Chandigarh. That was Chandigarh. The school in Chandigarh I really enjoyed, I think, but other schools it was a bit more challenging, because you were having to start from scratch each time, and that was difficult.
Oh, that is amazing. It's so good to hear all about that, especially about you flying the kite. I would have never imagined knowing you now.
I
That's
loved it. I loved it. And because I think it was a shared experience with my grandma, she was amazing. She was so
yeah.
good at it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in India as well, and I remember when you said the houses used to be very close by and you could jump from one roof to other.
Yeah.
I have done that as well in a city called Dehradun in India.
Oh,
Uh,
very nice. Very nice. We went there actually, because I would have had family stationed there. A lot of my family on my mother's side are in the army.
they're very good.
So
Yeah.
we went to Dehradun as well. It's beautiful.
Yes,
Absolutely
it is.
beautiful, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful. So now, as we know you now as Deepa of today, you are extensively working with AR, VR, and you are also the chief executive at Neon. So please tell us about that and how did you get interested into the world of AR and VR?
So I'll start with how I got interested. It's tied up with my father, who passed away on the 1st of January 2016, and that was obviously those are seismic moments in your life when you lose a parent. And that year, a lot of it, when I look back, there's a feeling of disconnection and numbness and grief largely. So in November that year, we were in Iceland and I experienced VR for the first time with Björk, the musician. Her album, you could experience it at Harper in Reykjavik, which was like a music venue. And it just transformed my whole physiology at the time. I came out feeling really light, and it was like the grief had lifted, and it was such an amazing, transformative experience that I thought I really want to find out more about this. I haven't experienced anything like this ever before. So I came back to Northern Ireland and I started to do some research, and there was only one company really working in this space, Kanos.
Yeah.
So I was introduced to their head of innovation and met with him. And by the time we met, I'd written down sort of over 30 ideas that I had, that could be created using virtual reality. And then they were interested in working together. So I ended up setting up a company, which is how that happened, so that I could apply for funding to NI Screen. And that's how it all started. So that was 5 years ago. And then we created a project called Retina, which we took out to South by Southwest, which was within 4 months, actually. It's crazy when I look back on it now. And then I started to read and get interested in the therapeutic benefits of VR and AR. And so the company has become a kind of an R&D company producing prototypes in apps that improve health and well-being. And within that, it also uses creativity as well.
That's amazing. Yes. I think I was there for Invent 2018 when you were
Okay.
one of the participants, and I did witness your pitch there. It was absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. When you did the demo of it, we were like, wow, love it.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
doing absolutely amazing work, and we all feel so proud of you, especially because of the connection through the ethnicity. So that brings me back to this thing, which I always wanted to ask you, is because you have been so successful, you have a brilliant career and you have achieved so much in such a short time. So in terms of ethnicity, do you think that it adds to who you are, or do you think that it is a hindrance? Because there's a lot of conversations and narrative around it. So I wanted to understand from you, especially for people who are based in UK, who are from the ethnic minority backgrounds, and especially the young people, the early teenagers who are just starting up their careers. So just to make it clear to them, what do you think? Because you are the one who's been there, done that. So what do you think? Does your ethnicity adds to who you are, or is it a hindrance to you?
It's absolutely an intrinsic part of who I am. And I think one of the hardest things in life for every single human being, one of the hardest and easiest once you actually discover it, is to be yourself and to be true to who you are. If you, and it's fundamental in terms of leading a happy life. So I am who I am because of my mother, my father, and because of the experiences and the values and the culture that I have come from, you know, and I wouldn't want to be anybody else because that would be a lie. Has it been easy? No, not at all. Have I had to fight harder to get where I am? Absolutely. That was something that, you know, I learned to fight watching how my parents lived and the battles that they had to fight. My mother used to work in a local factory, which was 5 minutes away from our house for lighting. She had to stand 3 times because she wanted to be a trade union shop steward. But because of the racism from within the union, it took her 3 attempts to be successful. My father experienced racism when he was applying for jobs and had to apply for so many more because he was just constantly rejected, you know. So and then countless daily examples of racism that they would have experienced and we experienced growing up as well. We grew up in the 80s in England, and it was a tough place to be, you know, to have had daily acts of racism. It was almost accepted, and you weren't surprised by it. So, but I wouldn't change, you know, kind of any part of me. And it adds to a richness in terms of my life, an understanding and an ability to, I think, be more open in terms of all the differences between us as human beings. So it's and my advice to, if there is anybody young watching this, is you absolutely have to celebrate everything about yourself, you know, and you have to do that. And if you are strong around doing that, others are drawn to that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That is so wonderful to say. In fact, with your kind of achievements, to say that, it will be a total inspiration for the young ones. And so, I was just looking through that, and since you brought the young ones into the conversation, I have this niggling feeling behind my head to ask you this very weird question, but I will just ask it anyway. It's like, supposing tomorrow you get up in the morning and you realize you are an 18-year-old yourself, what would be your advice to that 18-year-old Deepa?
Don't care about what other people think. Just do your thing. I,
Absolutely. Love that.
I've learned that eventually. I just wish I'd learned it a bit quicker.
I know.
Seriously, and it's something that probably, I mean, it's something you go through when you're young. You're so painfully aware of wanting to fit in, or painfully aware of what others are thinking around you, about you. And it's like, I really just spend far less time because the reality is everybody is obsessing about that. And just focus on developing the skills that you have so that they have the maximum impact in society. Because it's only when you do that, I think, that you can find a balance in life.
Yeah, so important to have that balance. And I guess I totally agree with you when you say that, it's important to focus on yourself. It's only when you cross that stage where you are all constantly judging and putting pressure on yourself because you are thinking that people are looking up to you, but you only realize it later on that everyone was probably busy doing the same thing
Mm.
as So it's better, for any of the young ones who are watching this, that's Deepa telling you, get the balance and don't worry about what
Mm.
people are telling you and enjoy. Just be yourself. Thanks, Deepa, for that awesome advice to the young ones. So I have been personally looking at your career, and you have been an absolute legend and a total inspiration for me as well. So I just wanted to know what is your success mantra? What makes Deepa tick? You know?
I'm really lucky that I can follow career paths that I have an absolute passion and interest in, and it's been an iterative process. For uh, the things that you see on the outside, there's been a lot of hard work in terms of getting there. So, for example, the non-executive roles that I hold, the it's taken years to kind of get to this place because there was a long period when I wouldn't get shortlisted, and then um, I wouldn't get interviewed, and then got to the interview stage and wasn't successful. So it's been a really kind of a lot of hard work of being rejected, but learning from it each time and constantly applying. And I suppose, I don't know, I just, I'm directed by what I find deeply passionate, and I'm at this stage now where I'm able to express myself creatively, artistically, but also in terms of leadership, in terms of the non-exec roles, but also in terms of using technology, um, and then the visiting professor role with Ulster University. But all of it's underpinned by a really strong value basis, which is about trying to have a positive impact on society in terms of having a fairer, a more equitable society. Because at the moment, uh, the divide between those who are rich and poor is just becoming wider. We've seen with COVID how people from Black and minority ethnic backgrounds, or however you wish and choose to define yourself, have been more exposed in terms of death rates and frontline jobs that are not as well paid. So there's a lot that's wrong in our society, that's not fair, that needs to be changed. So that's what drives me, I think. And being a non-executive director in terms of organizations, you have a responsibility there, and I take that responsibility really, really seriously.
Yeah. No, we really appreciate what you're doing. And in terms of your achievement, I think your success says for itself, that just being from ethnic background, there may be several narratives, but you are a glowing example of what you can still achieve. Don't let anything hold you back. It's amazing. You are such an inspiration for all of us, and I think I've said it several times, but that's true. So, and I'm sure it didn't come, as you said yourself, easy for you. You have worked very hard for it, and which is understandable. But, for mere mortals like me, how do you balance your work and life?
So I'm very fortunate that I'm able to direct my own diary on a day-to-day basis. So I am quite hardworking, and my children from a young age have learnt to kind of not look after themselves, but be independent in terms of their play. And we do a lot together as a family as well. But in the early days, when they were really young, when I was very focused on painting, I would work around them. So I would collect them from school. We would do homework, playtime, food, bath, all of that. But then I would come out and I would paint in the evening. And my day was structured around them. And now that, I mean, they're, you know, one's 19 and one's going to be 16. So they're very independent. So it's much easier now. And we've been really lucky over COVID, because I know this hasn't been the case for a lot of people, and that's wrong. But we were able to, everybody had their own device, so they were doing their work. My husband was working from home as well. So we were all working, and there was a real routine, you know, between 9 and 5. So for the most part, it's okay, but I do have crazy weeks where I've not been able to control the timetabling, and it can be really tiring. But that's okay. I accept that, because I'm doing so many different things that's the way it's going to be. But by and large, it works really well. So, I mean, this morning my day started with an hour's walk, because I knew the rest of the day is going to be really, really busy. So some days, you know, you have that walk in the middle of the afternoon, whatever. I've got flexibility, and I like the flexibility. I like the lack of routine. I really enjoy that.
That's good. I mean, it's wonderful the way you have got that balance right. And as you said, we all have those weeks. It's just that some of us have more of them, some have less, but we all have it. And yeah, we just have to find our own balance, I guess.
Yep.
So that brings us to a very, the end part and the most fun part of our chat sessions, and that is a super quick fire round for us. We will have some very funny questions, anything. I could ask you anything. Don't worry about it. You can answer it. And yeah, you don't have any time to think about it. So just answer which comes first to your mind. So, my first thing that I want to know is, what is one thing that we don't know about Deepa?
Oh, I love chocolate, orange flavored chocolate.
Amazing. I love that answer. So are you a tea person or a coffee person?
Tea.
Cat or dog?
I've had both, and I don't want any more. But this is not to own, no, because there's a campaign in the house for us to get a pet, which I'm actively opposed against, because we've had everything through all pets. So at the if it's to stroke or play with, it depends. It depends what kind of mood you're in. Sometimes I'm in a cat mood, sometimes in a dog mood. So that's really hard to answer.
Okay, I'll give you that. So, and the last one that I want to really ask you is, what is that one thing that you love about NI?
Oh, scenery. We've been so lucky again during COVID that I can walk out of my door and be next to the loch and have the most incredible walk, and hear trees and birds and be next to water, and I can be at a beach, or I can be in a forest and mountains. That is just priceless, absolutely priceless in terms of mental health and well-being, and keeping me connected. It's been a lifesaver.
Absolutely, I totally agree with you. Can't agree any less. Like, absolutely, we have such wonderful trails, and within half an hour you are like on a beach or mountains, which is incredible. Yeah. So it was nice having you, Deepa, and we wish you immense and continued success from the Browns Café team. And for viewers who were with us and have seen this video, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And please leave us some feedbacks in the comment section. And have a good life. Bye.